everybody, welcome along to this exhibition tour. My name is Tamsin Chaffin, I am the Trainee Curator here at the Museum of Cornish Life, and today I'm going to be showing you around our current exhibition called Under the Eaves. The Under the Eaves exhibition is inspired by the research project where for the last year research volunteer Julia has been delving into the museum collections, researching some of the hidden stories behind some of our objects and sharing what she found on our blog. I was inspired by what Julia has started, so for this exhibition I've sort of taken that thread and followed it, thinking about the Camborne collection here at the museum. The Camborne collection came here from Camborne Museum when it closed down in 2005, and when I was putting this exhibition together I went into the museum storage to find it in the boxes, and here's just a selection of the objects that I found interesting. I've wanted to show some of the objects that haven't been on display for a long time and also show some of the research we've been doing here at the museum. So let's take a closer look at some of the objects here. The first things you'll see in the exhibition are a series of photographs. So within the museum storage I found a box of photographs which are of the Camborne and Redruth area, mainly from the 19th and early 20th century. And I want to show you this one in particular. So this is a picture of Richard Trevithick's centenary celebrations. It was taken in 1933, and in it you can see crowds gathered outside the library building in Camborne on Cross Street, and they've all gathered around the statue of Richard Trevithick, who's of course a local Cornish hero. He's still celebrated on Trevithick Day each year. And in this picture you can see Camborne Library, and I wanted to show it because that's where Camborne Museum used to be. So Camborne Museum was on the top floor of the library. It started in around about 1913 and it was open to the public, like I say, until about 2005 when it closed down. But all the objects that are in this exhibition formerly were held in this space. So these pictures show local scenes, local events, there's some industrial scenes, pictures of mines and the people who used to work in them, and also some military history. So with this picture here, we can see Captain John Tayak, who was the captain of Camborne Volunteers, who were from the Duke of Cornwall's Light Infantry. He was captain from 1889 to 1908. And when I found this photograph, I found it quite interesting because it shows him meeting Edward, Prince of Wales, in a royal visit in 1921. And then later on, I was delving through the storage boxes, I found this helmet, and I thought, oh, that looks quite familiar, and it reminded me of the one he was wearing. So I went and had a search. I found the record card for it, and it indeed said that this did belong to Captain Tayak. And the record card also said that there was a jacket as well. But searching through the boxes upstairs, I couldn't find that jacket at all. So I took the record card downstairs to Andrea, who's our fantastic costumes volunteer, and I said, I've got a record card for a jacket and no jacket, and her eyes lit up because she had a jacket with no record card. So we were able to bring these objects together, and lo and behold, they were the ones we were looking for, connected to Captain Tayak. So that was quite a big win for me when putting this exhibition together. We've been able to reunite these objects and relocate a jacket which I thought was lost. So I mentioned record cards there, and if we take a detour here, we can see exactly what I'm talking about. Our museum records these days are all digital. They're on a database where we store all the information we know about our objects. But for the Camborne collection, the object records we have are these traditional handwritten index cards, and I think they're absolutely fascinating. They have all the information about each object as it came into the collection. Some of them have more information than others, but for researching, they have been the first step of finding out about the objects. Here you can see the illustration on the back of this one, which shows Captain Tayak's jacket. Today, when I want to show what an object looked like, it's really easy to take a photograph, but before digital photography, the quickest way was to just draw it. So on some of these records we have the curator's drawings, and these archaeological examples are particularly detailed. these throw up a little mystery for us at the museum, because although we have these record cards with these wonderful illustrations, we've not yet been able to find those objects. So something to be explored in future there. So moving back to this section of the exhibition, with these two cases I want to show the variety which is in the Camborne collection. The first case here is all to do with the mining heritage of Camborne. This is a theme which comes through strongly in the collection, with stories about the Holman brothers, for example, and things like the felt hat here. This felt hat was worn by a miner in the 19th century, and it's made of felt but coated with resin to give it a bit of more protection when you're in the cramped conditions of the mine and when you might have things falling on your head. But if you think about the modern day hard hat, it's certainly nowhere near there. So plenty of objects to do with mining and local history. And when I was exploring the collection, I thought this makes sense. I was expecting to find these stories. But moving over to this case, these are some objects with more international links that I perhaps wasn't expecting. These are some objects which have been researched already by Julia on this shelf here with the Mexican antiquities. If you haven't already read Julia's blog post about these objects, I highly recommend you do, because it gives a fantastic background. But we have some jewellery here with beads, beautiful blue colours there, some jewellery with the necklaces, and then on the left we have some figures which seem to have holes through the middle, so they could also be ornamental beads. With these objects, Julia was able to find out more about the donor, who was C.C. James, and he spent some time living and working in Mexico, connected to mining. He had knowledge of geology, and so through Julia's research we've been able to find out a lot more about the life of these objects and figure out a bit more about how they've made that journey from Mexico to Cornwall via C.C. James. Julia also found that there are some objects in the British Museum, Mexican antiquities too, that he also donated. So that research has helped us understand a bit more about the objects that we didn't know about before. So the bottom shelf here, we can see another variety of objects. We haven't started researching these yet. I found them in a box. They were all together marked African/Egyptian. So we've not started to research these, but they do raise some questions, thinking about what are they, that journey from where they were made to here, and how objects end up in museums. So lots of work to be done with this collection, lots of stories to find out. So finally, moving towards this section of the exhibition, this is more about the future of the research and the questions that we're thinking about now when we're looking at objects that perhaps have those international links. These spears are an example of objects that are not from Camborne Museum. These are from the Museum of Cornish Life collection. But thinking about those questions of where objects come from and trying to fill in the blanks when we don't know much at all is really important for our current research at the museum. We're trying to uncover those hidden histories and through this sort of learn more about our collection and about our museum. So then finally, earlier on I mentioned that when I was looking through the collection I was going through storage boxes, and this is an example of one of those boxes. The Camborne collection is housed in about 30 of these of various sizes, but you can see the variety of objects. We've got things like copper pots, with some ceramics, there's slippers in this box, there's a teapot. It's all sorts, and we've only really just begun to explore this varied collection. And what we really want to do is carry on researching to try and find out more about these objects. So that's our current exhibition, Under the Eaves. It's inspired by the Under the Eaves project, but it's by no means the culmination or the end point. This is a snapshot of where we are in our research at the moment, and like I said, we've only just begun to scratch the surface. There's so many more fascinating stories that we can find out about these objects, and that's what we want to do in the future. So thank you very much. If you are able to come along to the museum, this exhibition will be here until November the 24th. And otherwise keep an eye on our website, where we will be continuing to publish Julia's blogs all about her research and what we can find out about objects like these. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.